Hey, everybody. Vikki Williams, Tennessee
Hi.
State Broker for Epic Realty. I'm so happy you all are here and that you're ready to level up. This is our very first episode of Let's Level Up Fridays, where I am going to be interviewing some top producing agents and team leaders from around the country that have either been a capping agent or a power agent or a high producing team leader. And they are coming to you to share their playbook. They're going to open it up. They're going to tell you exactly what they did. And I love that they're not going to give you advice like anybody can give you advice, but they're going to actually give you their playbook so that you can duplicate it. And if you duplicate it, you will find success. I promise you that. So let's get started. First of all, let's welcome Lori, welcome to the call. And I want to
You.
start right at the beginning.
All right.
After 30 years in nursing, you made a bold move to get into real estate.
I
What
did.
sparked that change, and how did it feel stepping into a brand new industry?
So, what really sparked the change initially was COVID. I had been a nurse for 30 years, worked in all manner of healthcare, um, and really was ready to get out of healthcare after that period of time. And I had a niece who was an agent, very successful agent at the brokerage that I was originally at. And so she sold my house when we decided to move to Tennessee. And she's like, Lori, you really should like do this. Like you didn't let me do anything. And we had bought and sold a lot of homes and I always loved real estate. Never thought I could do it though. Been a nurse too long. You think that's all you can do.
Right.
Anyway, stepping into the industry. So I came in like every other agent thinking, well, I don't really know what to do. So I guess I need to do everything that everyone else is doing. And so that's kind of what my mindset was. Like, you want to take in all of this information, you want to hear what everybody else is doing, and then you want to try to replicate that. Well, I guess my first thing I realized was I can't do everything. So what am I going to do? So that was kind of my mindset.
Yeah.
Had to
So you
shift.
really had to just focus on what works for Lori. And even
Yes,
though this person may be successful at this part of the industry, you don't have to do that to find
absolutely.
your level of success.
Absolutely.
Well, you've now been in real estate, Lori, for 5 years almost. And looking back at that first year, you set up yourself a pretty big goal. You set the bar high for yourself with a 12 transaction goal.
Hmm.
Tell us on the call today how you set that goal for yourself, why you set that goal for 12 transactions, and how did it work out?
Hmm. Well, so my initial goal was I wanted to do at least two closings a month, and it was already 6 months into the year when I came into the real estate world that year. And so initially, I bumped into someone that invited me to be on a team, and so that's what I did. And I thought, I'm going to need to do something because I don't know anyone, I don't know anything, all of the things. And so I hopped on a team and we kind of, I want to say dated for about a month because we really never formalized any agreement at the time, which, you know, looking back probably wasn't wise on their part, but I was good for me because a month in, I decided that I really didn't want to, just report numbers back to a team. I really didn't want to be responsible for, in my mind, letting them down, because if I didn't reach my goal, then I'm disappointed in myself and feeling that they're disappointed. And so the 12 transaction goal, honestly, I didn't necessarily set it. It just kind of happened. I mean, it was a good idea. I didn't know that I really believed it could happen, to be honest,
So
in the
your
first year.
mindset wasn't quite there in the beginning. You had to develop that.
I had to
And you
develop
had to see
that.
that the proof was in the pudding, right?
Yes, 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 yes. So hung out with them for about a month and really just great team, great group of people. But I was like, I really want to just go sit by the pool and meet people and help them buy or sell real estate. Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit more again and say that you relocated to Tennessee and built your business completely from scratch. You were new in the industry, it was COVID, you had no sphere of influence, no knowledge of the local market.
Yeah.
And your initial plan, which you already let the cat out of the bag,
Yeah.
was you wanted to do something that resonated with you. And you
Yeah.
wanted to lay by the pool and walk your dog and build a business around things that you enjoyed doing. Tell
Absolutely.
us about that so that
Okay.
and tell us also how you grew your client base in that first year doing exactly what you like to do.
Exactly. So when we originally moved to Tennessee, we lived in Piney Flats and we rented for about a little year and a half probably. And I just got to know all my neighbors. Like we were all renting in the same complex. We all walked our dogs around the same circles. We sat at the same community pool. So I literally got to know, I would say probably, so my first couple of leads came from the team that I hung out with. And I followed through with that. We closed. They got their portion of the commission. We moved on. But when I was on my own, the biggest part of my business came from people that lived right around me in that complex. Like we got to know each other and they were all going to buy a house at one point or another. And a lot of them were from other states as well. So we had that in common. So I just started doing that. I just met people. I also joined a Facebook group called Mountain Gems. Now, I did not, here's what you need to know. I did not join that group to set out to build a real estate business. That was not the point. The point was to get to know people. And I think that's a big mind shift too for new agents. You can't just go out and start doing things just for business because it's the relationships that are going to lead to the business. Okay.
Mm.
And so that group, we met for coffee. That's all we did. We didn't talk about real estate. We never had very seldom ever had a real estate conversation, but we met for coffee like every Wednesday. Got to know a bunch of people. Those friends became my close friends, and then their family became my future clients. And, so that's kind of how it all started.
Love that. And that was such a great piece of advice, Lori. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're on here live, drop some thoughts, drop some questions, drop some comments, and we're going to hit that chat box at the end. And we are going to have some time for some questions and answers with Lori. So definitely engage. I'd love to get some engagement out of here. So, Lori, you did tell me when we spoke the other day that you do work with a lot of relocation clients. What are your best tips for building that trust and that credibility with people who have never met you face to face? They don't know you. How do you build that?
Mhm. So I counted up one day. I've moved people here to Johnson City or the area from 16 different states. So, and I was a relocation person myself. So I think actually having that in my own background helps build that trust because they know that I've lived this, like I've been through this. One of my very first clients, actually, I moved here from Alaska. And we're still friends today. And she was in Mountain Gyms as well. The other thing I did was, as my clients moved here, I began to connect them to one another. So that also helped build my relocation business because as they moved, I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to get involved in this group because this is a group of women from all over the country. And a lot of those people then got connected, became friends, they found their tribes. And that was my way of adding value to them. Like, yes, you're my client, but I'm going to help you get connected in the community as well because I know what it was like to come here and not be connected. I think being authentic too, and not salesy on the phone because they really sometimes they don't ever even see your face until they roll in to see the house. I had a client that bought a house out in Telford and we closed in November. They'd never walked in the house to all video, they trusted me to help them navigate that and never walked in the house until April of the following year. And so I think, and I had never met face to face till then either. And so I don't know. Sometimes I wonder myself how it happens because I don't know if I could do that. But yeah,
Well, I
it's
love that we've gotten to know you a little bit now in the first few minutes of this call. We've learned how you got into real estate, how you started your
yeah.
business. But now let's talk about your marketing evolution because you've had some changes in your marketing strategies from being a brand new agent to where you are today. So in the
Mhm.
beginning, I know you mentioned you tried traditional mailers at first, but didn't quite get the results you were looking for, and you decided to pivot to email marketing. So what kind of results have you seen from email marketing, and what does that even mean?
Okay. So at my previous brokerage, I had tremendous so email marketing for me keeps me in front of my people. Like I mean, that is how I do it. Yes, I do pop buys, not consistently like I would love to, but you can't always be consistent when there's one of you. But that is how I stay in front of my sphere of influence because I am tight with my people. Like most of my clients they hear from me probably every couple months. I'm very active with them on Facebook, but my newsletter that goes out, they all get it monthly. So email marketing for me keeps me in front of my people. Like, I mean, that is how I do it. Yes, I do pop buys, not consistently like I would love to, but you can't always be consistent when there's one of you. But that is how I stay in front of my sphere of influence because I am tight with my people. Like most of my clients they hear from me probably every couple months. I'm very active with them on Facebook, but my newsletter that goes out, they all get it monthly and I stay in touch with that. When I have new listings, my email blast goes both to new buyers as well as past buyers and sellers.
Your newsletters that you go out, you
Mm-hmm.
have some
Mm-hmm.
content in there and you have a different subject line, a hook, if you will, each month to try to get people to open those. And
Yes,
that's really important, right? Like you
it
have to put
is.
a good subject in there for someone to even want to open your newsletter.
It is. And I really can't take the credit for that. My
Your
VA.
VA does that. He probably uses a lot of AI to figure out
He
what that
does.
hook needs
He
to be.
does. He
But
absolutely
let's talk
does.
about what's in your newsletter. So, how's your
Okay.
newsletter composed? What
Okay.
does it consist of?
So usually it has some sort of personal note, obviously from me. And then I do highlight my listings that are, current, but that's way down. We do a lot of monthly events, things that I find things that I think my clientele are going to really enjoy. So we'll put those things in there. There's usually some kind of buyer or seller tips. We highlight a local business and we really try to make it, unique and different. We've done several different things in the area, but something like that. I also have on there, obviously, a link to my area guide. My VA is out of this world. He put together an area guide for us that I can share as a point of value, and they can click on that from my newsletter. So, if they have somebody thinking about moving to the area, they can click on that and have these resources. It's like in an
And what I love
ad.
about that is that you're sending it to your clients who are mostly relocating here from other states, which means they probably know people in their previous state that are going to relocate to Tennessee too. You're
Yes,
sharing with them the newsletter that they can forward to anyone they
absolutely.
know is moving here, and
Absolutely.
then you're automatically going to be their go-to agent.
Yes,
What I
absolutely.
also love is that you're putting something in there every month that's not just about real estate, or you will
Yes.
lose followers. You've got to have
Yes.
something in there that's current and relevant to the person
Yes.
reading it.
And it's not really even about working with me. There's a little bit in there that I'm sharing, but it's really like, here's the info. It's really adding value. And I think if Walt and Robert and Chris have taught me anything since coming, and you and many others that have taught me anything, it is about adding value. And that's where I felt I was weak because I didn't know how to do it. I don't know
Mm.
what value I have to add. And so they have helped me kind of get in my head, what do I have to offer them? Well, as a relocation, so I started thinking as a relocation specialist, I don't have the like letters behind my name. I've just done it. But as a relocation specialist, I can send that area guide out. I can make it available as an ad. I can use it in so many different ways. So
Yes. So you mentioned your VA, Ariel, and I want everyone on the call to know that VA stands for a virtual assistant. So they don't work together in person, but they meet virtually. And you actually meet with your VA every day and have a huddle,
I
which is
do.
great. So that he's getting to know you, you're getting to know him, and you guys
Mhm.
are vibing and gelling. And that's whenever the real magic can happen, is when there's some
Yeah.
personal integration going on there. So, besides helping you with your newsletters, can you share how you two collaborate and the impact he's had on your business? And at what point do you think an agent should really consider leveraging and hiring their own VA? Share
Mhm.
with us about that.
So I had previously a transaction coordinator. Even prior to coming to Epic, it was my daughter, and we had worked together for 3 years, and it was great. But I knew that I needed to leverage more. and she was not able to take more on. I have 3 grandsons that she's raising, and they're a handful. So I knew I needed more availability, and so I again, Chris Rains introduced me to a company that I was able to interview with. They were able to find my VA. Well, they found options for me based on what I needed. And then I interviewed them and chose one. I would say if you're an agent that, well, this is just me. There were things that were like, I knew needed to be done in my business. I needed more social media stuff done. I needed more things done, but I did not have any more time left to give to that. And so by the time I would get home at night after you're running around all day, and then you're like, oh yeah, I need to do social media. It's 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Nobody cares. Nobody's looking at social media at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So I needed someone available that could help with all of that during the day, during the working hours. And that's what
And
he
you
does.
learned that your time and your value was better spent creating and nurturing the relationships that are bringing you income instead of
100%.
producing tasks that are just tasks. They're
One,
important, but that's not where your time and value is better spent.
100%. And now he is taking care of the things that were keeping me up at night. So I did buy
Ah,
back time.
I
In
love
fact,
that.
with this company, one of the books that you get as one of their clients is Buy Back Your Time.
And this
Which
company
is,
is called Sphere Rocket, and
it
they
is.
are, if you are an Epic Realty agent, some of you may not be on this call. That's okay. We love you.
Yep. Yep.
Sphere Rocket is one of our vendor partners, and so we do get some discounts using them and some special rates to
Mhm.
hire your virtual assistant. So thank you for sharing that tip because leverage is huge. So I also know when we spoke the other day, we talked about video, and I want to give you a shout out because your area leader, Jessica Brooks, we were on a leadership call last week, and maybe it was this week. I don't know. My days are running together. And she was bragging on you and Amber Crum as being her two video kind of rock stars, but how you both have very different styles,
Very.
but how you both have embraced that as part of your business. And with video,
Mhm.
it's one of those things that agents either love or they avoid.
Mhm.
So, what
Mhm.
has your
Yes.
experience been with your video marketing? What's working, and what's been kind of a learning curve for you with video?
I started out with my videographer doing video primarily to do branding. And so I think that was the big thing for me. Like, I just wanted to get some branding stuff out there, giving some helpful tips, hopefully, as well along the way. I hope somebody benefited from it. But he was fabulous and he guided me through that because I will tell you, I hated every minute of it. Like every day when it was that day to go do it, I was like, oh, I cannot wait till this day's over. Seriously. But I knew that we needed to do it. And he made it fun. He really did. So all that to say, it's evolving. But I do think it is helpful with branding. And I know it has helped Amber with her branding. Oh my gosh. Like
Amber Crum gets it done. Amber's going to
Amber
be one of my
Crum.
guest speakers one day. So, you guys are going to learn about Amber and how she's become not just a capping agent, but also a power agent. And I know, Lori, you are on your way to hitting power agent. I think you're going to hit it this year.
That's
So,
what I'm hoping.
so let's
But
talk
yeah, so I
about.
would, oh, go ahead. But I would say if you're a new agent, talk to Vikki about branding because we were sitting in a little this jam session one night and we were talking about Amber and she's embraced that and running with it. Amber Crumb gets it done. That was Vicky's thing. So
I love marketing and branding. I tell you, that was probably what I did in my previous life. But real estate is a lot of marketing and branding. It's not, it's probably more so that than writing contracts because first you got to
absolutely.
market and brand yourself to get your clients to be able to work with them and write your contract. So don't miss
Yeah.
out on the marketing
Yeah.
and branding piece of your business. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Okay, well,
yeah.
we don't have much time left. I do have a couple of other really quick questions for you that we're going to open up to Q&A. So I do want to know at Epic, again, we offer a lot of tools and benefits to our agents, and sometimes that can be overwhelming with which one do I use? What do I need to help me grow my business?
Mm-hmm.
And you highlighted one that you told me the other day specifically, tremendously has helped your business. And I want you
Yeah.
to share with everyone what that benefit is.
Okay. So I told Vicki that if Epic offered no other benefits, this one would be worth the 150 or 99, whatever you pay a month to me. So on the dashboard under marketing benefits, there is Social Bay. So if you have not gotten in there and signed up and taken advantage of all the stuff, Social Bay, you need to get on there immediately. So I do all of my ads through Social Bay. I have it set up. You can set it up to be automated so that as soon as you have a new listing or you have a price change or you have an open house, you can automate all of those ads to go out immediately. You can set your own budget. I think I had mine set at like $75 or, every time. Just let it go. I don't have to do anything. If your Social Bay is connected to your MLS, which you have, and I'm going to talk to you about that because I was looking at something last night in preparation for this. But if your MLS is connected, all of your listings will appear there. Okay. You can run an ad on any one of your listings. You can run ads on company listings. All that to say, you can do these ads. As I have done them, I have had more leads coming in from these ads. Now, granted, you got to have a lot of leads to convert one of them.
You
Okay.
have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince.
Absolutely. But I'm telling you, when I first came to Epic, I had 5 listings live. I had more leads in that first month than I even knew what to do with them. And Stephanie can tell you, I started giving them away. I'm like, Stephanie, I can't even call these people. I couldn't keep up with it, literally. And so you will get the leads. And now I'm blessed because my VA is able to follow up with them. But if you don't have a VA, Lofty is set up to do that initial AI response to that lead as soon as it comes in to give you some time to call them or whatever. But you can set Lofty up to do a drip on those leads that come in. It's a really great tool. And if you don't know how to do that, they can reach out to Adam Frank, right? And he can help them with
With
that.
Lofty,
Or
but for
support. Yeah.
Social Bay, so Social Bay is also called Back At Ya. So
Yeah.
if you see both names, it is one platform. And even if your MLS is not connected, Lori, for some reason, you can manually put in the listings if you
Okay,
want
perfect.
to, so that you can
Perfect.
still take advantage of their ads. And what I love about Social Bay is that it's less complicated than going through
Yes.
Facebook Meta
Yes.
and running an ad through Facebook. It's still going to go to Facebook. It's still going to get you the same leads, but not only is it better when you run a Facebook ad. If I remembering right from back in the day when I used to run ads, those leads would come in, but they would not automatically go into my CRM. So then there was a disconnect that I was losing opportunities to stay top of mind. But with Social Bay or Back At Ya, if you run your ad through there, it's easier. It's the
Yep.
same money, but
Yep.
then the leads come in and they do go right into your CRM. So it takes less, it gives you back more time, right?
Yep. Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So thank you, Lori, for that advice. One more question, and I'm going to open it up to some questions and answers. So when you set big goals, and I know right now you have goals of 24 transactions so that you can hit that power agent status we have at Epic. How do you stay focused and keep that momentum up? Because some days are hard in real estate. No matter how many closings you've had, no matter how many clients you have, some days can just be challenging. Well, how do you stay focused to keep your momentum up, Lori?
I think for me, it's just continuing to stay connected to people. You can get so caught up in the day-to-day transaction part of what we do and showings and everything. And I think for me, it's staying focused on still meeting new people. I still have to go do those things I enjoy. Even if I feel like I don't have time for it, I need to go do those things. But also really staying surrounded by people that are in the same game. There's so much benefit to be connected, and I think we are really blessed in our area. I mean, we have everybody by Zoom, but if you're in an area, find those agents that you can meet with in person. And I know, Jessica, we were talking and we just scheduled a coffee and collaboration coming up next week with our newer agents and people that are in our area. I think that is so important. I mean, we need to go have fun together and all that, but we really need to like get together and really talk about what's working, what's not, what are we struggling with, how can we help each other? I think that's really what keeps me focused.
Yeah, don't isolate. That's
Yeah.
the worst place to be when you're stuck is
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah.
And then one last question for new agents getting into the industry, or even seasoned agents that are maybe just feeling like they're in a little bit of a rut. What's the biggest lesson you've learned that you would pass on to them?
That if something is not working, pivot and do something different.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Don't get so
Yeah.
set in something. But also, the other caveat with that is don't try everything new. Like, don't go after every shiny new nickel because we've all done it. We've all spent way too much money doing all these other things that have no return on investment. But if something that you've been doing is truly producing no return on investment, just pivot and do something different. Talk to somebody, reach out to your area leader, and talk about who you are and let them help you guide you into what's going to be more beneficial. So
I love that advice. Yes, be your true authentic self and don't do something just because someone else is doing it unless you know you can stick with it, you can
yes,
commit to it, you can follow through with it, right?
yeah,
Well, I see
yep,
a lot of comments in the chat. Good stuff, great nuggets. I think everyone really valued what you had to share.
awesome.
Lori's contact information is in the chat, both her cell phone number and her email address. And Lori, I want to thank you for being my very first interviewee.
Aw. Oh. Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you,
Everybody have a
everyone,
good
for being
day.
here. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for being here. Have a great day.